Okay, so a few things that we're going to talk about tonight is foundations of living a healthier life. We're going to cover smoking cessation, hydration, sugar intake, nutrition, sleep, and exercise. Starting first with smoking cessation, smoking doesn't just take years off your life, but it takes life out of your years. So smoking cessation, the risks obviously are cancer, heart disease, COPD. There's actually benefits from quitting from the first 20 minutes, and then they continue on after the first year. Some tools that you can use are the nicotine gum, nicotine patch, and also Wellbutrin is known to decrease cravings. So the best time to quit is yesterday, and the second one is today. So 20 minutes after quitting, your heart rate and blood pressure starts to drop back to normal. So I know a lot of you guys know if you go to get your vitals done and you just smoked a cigarette, they're always higher, right? About 2 weeks after quitting, circulation in your lungs begin to improve. 1 year, the risk of heart disease is reduced. 10 years after quitting, the risk of dying from lung cancer is reduced by 50%. And you can see the ones on the bottom. There's just some significant benefits to quitting smoking. You're going to have whiter teeth, fresher breath, healthier skin. It actually improves collagen production, slows down aging process. There's some obvious benefits there, increased life expectancy as well. So one of the things that I wanted to take a look at is what's the difference between vaping and cigarette smoking. So with cigarette smoking, you're burning tobacco. You're going to get the combustion of the byproducts. It contains over 7,000 chemicals. At least 70 of them are known carcinogens. So you have the tar, the carbon monoxide, arsenic, formaldehyde, heavy metals. When you compare that to vaping, so with vaping, you're heating up the liquid and the vapor juice. And so that often includes nicotine, glycerin, flavoring, formaldehyde, acetaldehyde, heavy metals as well. These particles go deep into the lungs. And I don't know if many of you heard, but there is a side effect called popcorn lungs, and that's has to do with the flavoring that gets into the alveoli of your lungs. So lung damage compared to smoking, a study from Manchester Metropolitan University found that vapors exhibited reduced lung capacity and oxygen intake very similar to smokers, and that vaping can impair lung function in the same extent. There is a risk of increased illness with respiratory illness with both vaping and cigarette smoking. You have the increased risk of COPD, asthma, chronic bronchitis, and emphysema. Long-term effects are really unclear because we don't have a lot of studies as far as what long-term vaping does for you, but I'm sure that that will come along at some point and we'll know. So, and in thinking about that, I thought this was an interesting thought. So when cigarettes first were mass-produced by the marketing company in the early 20th century, they were actually promoted as healthy. Some key points of their advertisements in the 20s to the 50s, cigarette companies made bold statements saying brands like Camels use slogans saying more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarettes. Health benefits stated that if you smoke, it could soothe your throat, it aids in digestion, and it helps control weight. In 1964, the U.S. Surgeon General report officially linked smoking to lung cancer, and 70s and onwards, there was the warning labels. So I actually went and looked, and I found some old advertisements. Thought it was kind of interesting. It's toasted, less irritating. Okay, so nicotine gum usually contains about 2 milligrams or 4 milligrams of nicotine per gum. It's absorbed through the lining in the mouth, not just in the stomach. So the nicotine gum will help reduce cravings, irritability, anxiety, and difficulty concentrating as you're withdrawing from it. It gives a lower controlled dose of nicotine without the harmful smoke, and of course without the chemicals. The nicotine patch comes in 3 different doses. It's 21, 14, and 7. It's usually technically you start to use and then you decrease down. Or for example, if maybe you don't smoke a whole pack a day, we would probably start you at 14 milligrams. If you smoked more than a pack a day, we would start you at 21 milligrams. You're not supposed to sleep with the patch on. If you sleep with the patch on, a lot of reports of very vivid, strange, disturbing dreams. And it's a stimulant, so it can interfere with your REM sleep cycle. There's Chantix, and Chantix is a dual mechanism. It stimulates nicotine receptors, so it gives that mild dopamine response when you hit cigarettes. So the Chantix will be replaced with that, which helps reduce cravings and helps with reduce withdrawal symptoms. It blocks nicotine from binding to receptors. So if you do smoke while you're on Chantix, you don't get that same rewarding effect. So you think of it kind of like faking out your brain when you're smoking. You don't get like the same rewards that you would if you weren't taking the Chantix. Chantix doesn't include nicotine. It should be taken with food, and this also can cause vivid dreams. Also, Wellbutrin is noted to help decrease cravings with nicotine. This was originally approved as an antidepressant, but later it's been found to reduce nicotine cravings and helps nicotine withdrawal symptoms. It increases your dopamine and norepinephrine, so the 2 neurotransmitters that are involved in the addiction reward system. And this Wellbutrin can be in combination with utilizing the patch or utilizing the nicotine gum. So just to kind of take a look at the different alternatives and the success rates between them. Obviously, there's no one thing that you can just take and, you're done. But as you can see, Chantix, and that's the non-nicotine option, has the overall highest statistical rating. Wellbutrin second, nicotine patch third, and the gum. I did think it was interesting too, and I didn't know this until I researched a little bit more into it. When you're chewing the gum, you just don't chew it. So you chew it, you get that peppermint leaf, that peppermint flavor, you deposit it on the side of your cheek, you let it sit there, and then that's when it absorbs into your mucosal lining. Once that like tingly flavor goes away, then you re-chew it and do it again. That's how you'll get the most effective results with the nicotine gum. Let's talk a little bit about hydration. So water fuels your brain, your body, helps with your mood. It is the cheapest and most powerful habit that you can build. About 70% of our water is made up of, 70% of our body is made up of water. It is varied by age, your sex, and your body composition. So men are 70%, women are 55 to 65%. As you get older, you start to decrease a little bit. It's about 55 to 65%. But if you become dehydrated, as you can see, a large amount of your body is water consumption. So when you become dehydrated, you can understand, knowing this, how it affects your body, your organs, and your mood. So water maintains cellular function. Every cell in your body needs water to function. It regulates your temperature through sweating and respiration. It supports your digestion and your nutrients. It lubricates your joints and cushions your organs. It flushes out your toxins, especially through your kidneys and your urinary tract. It helps improve your energy, mood, cognition, and performance. So we all have these blue bottles, right? I thought it would be good to kind of compare how much you're supposed to drink every day. So I did it according to the blue bottles, since we all have them. So men are supposed to drink about 3.7 liters a day, which is 13 cups. Women are 2.7, which is 9 cups. So on the bottom, you can see what that's equivalent to. For women, the blue bottle, we should drink 4 of those a day. And for the men, you should drink 5 to 5.5 a day. And that's how much you should adequately be drinking each day to maintain your fluids. A lot of people like lemon in their water. And I thought it'd be interesting to research about the benefits of adding the lemon to the water. So obviously it boosts, encourages people to drink more water, boosts the flavor taste. It does add for digestion. So the lemon stimulates stomach acid and bile production, which promote regular bowel movements. It can help reduce bloating and indigestion in some people. It's a good source of vitamin C. It helps support immune function. It helps support collagen production. May also help prevent kidney stones, reduce the risk of calcium oxalate. That's what builds up the kidney stones, and it promotes healthier breath. There are obviously several different types of water too, right? There's mineral water, there's tap water, there's filtered water, purified water. Wanted to kind of take a look at the 2 differences of these. So mineral water or purified water. Mineral water can have trace impurities, but certain brands are tested and considered to be safe. You want to look for the certified brands of mineral water. If you're looking for natural mineral water, you might look for the high natural mineral content. If it says spring water, you're going to want to look for minerals listed such as calcium, magnesium, and sodium. So the pros. The mineral water contains minerals like calcium, magnesium, potassium, which are essential for health. It can support electrolyte balance and bone health and hydration more effectively than just plain water. It's often sourced from natural springs, may have a more sharp, cleaner taste. Some brands do come with high sodium, so you're going to want to keep an eye out for that. The pros is it undergoes filtration, reverse osmosis to remove impurities, bacteria, metals and chemicals. There are no minerals added. Good for people with dietary restrictions and kidney stones. Lacks essential minerals, and this one's talking about purified water. So you would want to make sure that you make sure you drink enough if you're drinking just the purified water. It might taste a little bit more flat or bland to people. So did you know that you can actually survive longer without food than you can without water? You can go weeks without food, but only about 3 days without hydration because it's so vital to our bodies. Next, I'd like to talk about sugar. Sugar is the most socially accepted drug that we don't realize that we're addicted to. So, I mean, think about it. Sugar in your mouth is cavities. Sugar in your blood can create disease like diabetes. Sugar in your teeth causes cavity. Oh, I got both of these twice, sorry. Sugar in your belly causes fat. Too much sugar can just basically be problems everywhere. And I thought this was really interesting. So studies have shown that with rats, sugar can be just as addictive as cocaine. Rats will actually choose sugar over the cocaine even when they're already addicted to cocaine. And the reason why that is because the sugar activates the dopamine reward system just like drugs do. So it's not that the sugar hits them harder, but it's that the natural reward system responds more consistently to sweetness than it does to like a synthetic high. So this helps explain why sugar cravings can feel so powerful, and a lot of use can lead to impulsive behavior. Women should have about 25 grams of sugar a day, and men 36 grams. So as you can see on the side, that's how many teaspoons of sugar a woman should have each day. 1 can of Coca-Cola exceeds the entire limit of sugar for a woman in 1 can, and it nearly exceeds for men. So I thought it'd be interesting to just kind of take a breakdown. Obviously water, perfect choice. Coca-Cola has 10 cubes of sugar. Lipton sweetened tea 6.5. And then even like the Gatorade power drinks we have has a lot of sugar content in it as well. So some sugar facts. Natural sugar versus added sugar, your body actually does know the difference. Even though sugars are chemically similar, sugars with whole foods that come in things like fruit actually comes with fiber and nutrients. So that slows down the absorption of the sugar and it reduces in the sugar spikes. There are over 60 names of sugars on food labels that you need to make sure that you pay attention to if you're trying to cut your sugar intake. I have several of them listed here, like high fructose corn syrup, dextrose, maltose. Anything tricky, you need to keep an eye out and try to spot that. So it's important first to start with awareness. Look for the hidden sugars, the names that we talked about. Look at the serving size. First thing it's important to do is cut sugary drinks. You're going to want to start to eat whole, unprocessed foods, fresh or frozen vegetables and fruit over canned items with syrup and added sauces, whole grains instead of refined ones, white bread, white rice, many cereals often contain added sugars. Plan meals to avoid sugar cravings. If you eat balanced meals with protein, fiber, and healthy fats, these will keep your blood sugar stable and decrease your cravings for sugar. Let's talk a little bit about nutrition. So every bite you take either feeds disease or fights it. You are what you absorb, not just what you eat. So if your gut health is poor due to inflammation, medications, your body may not absorb the full nutrients, even if you're eating a healthy diet. So fiber is just as important as vitamins. Most people don't get enough. Fiber improves gut health. It balances sugar, promotes weight loss, and lowers the risk of heart disease and colon cancer. Ultra-processed foods, such as chips, sweetened cereals, fast food, they're often linked to increased depression, addiction-like eating behaviors, and inflammation. Excuse me. So what makes our gut health poor? So a poor diet. So if you can constantly consume ultra-processed foods that are high in sugar, unhealthy fats or additives, low in fiber, excessive sugar or artificial sweeteners, or high alcohol consumption, this can reduce your gut health. Medications, many medications that we take will often wipe out our gut microbes, such as NSAIDs, antibiotics. They may actually, with long-term use, damage the intestinal lining. Poor sleep can actually decrease or make gut health poor. So if you disrupt your circadian rhythm, the gut microbe patterns and physical activity helps regulate and helps produce these to be at a good, healthy level. So what are some of the signs of poor gut health? Bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, if you're frequently ill or have infection, skin issues, fatigue, food intolerances. It might be helpful to take a probiotic, ideally at least 2 hours apart from, if you're taking an antibiotic from take it 2 hours apart from the antibiotic. That can help prevent having poor gut health if you're prescribed an antibiotic. So addiction to processed foods, dopamine overload. Eating ultra-processed foods causes a surge in dopamine, and the brain begins to feel good. And this is the same reward pathway that is activated in addictive substances. So over time, your brain adapts, requiring the same food to feel the same pleasure in response to the tolerance. Here is just a picture of the Eat Well plate. This is a food group portion plate, so we're supposed to eat about 33% of fruit and vegetables. It says aim for at least 5 portions a day of fiber, vitamins, and minerals. Starchy foods, want to kind of focus on brown, like brown bread, rice, pasta, potatoes. Choose whole greens possible. Dairy products, you want to get about 15%. Milk, cheese, yogurt provides calcium and protein. 12% protein, meat, fish, eggs, beans, nuts, important for muscle building and tissue health. And fatty and sugary foods, you want to keep down to 7%. They should be eaten in small amounts. Sleep. Sleep isn't just about rest, but it's neurological rehab for the brain. During recovery, the brain is repairing itself, rebalancing neurotransmitters, and consolidating new coping mechanisms. Without sleep, healing process could actually have a roadblock. So here's some interesting, odd sleep facts. Sleep deprivation can actually make you feel drunk, even without alcohol. Being awake for 24 hours actually impairs your judgment and coordination just as much as if you had a blood alcohol content of 0.10, which is, higher than the legal limit. Your brain literally cleans itself while you sleep. So it flushes out waste products, including toxins that will build up that are linked to like Alzheimer's disease. Humans are the only mammals that will willingly delay sleep. No other animal stays up late just to binge TV or scroll through TikTok, social media. Sleep paralysis is actually really real, and it's a terrifying thing. It happens when your brain wakes up, but your body is paralyzed because it's still in the REM state of sleep, and that's where the hallucinations are associated with the paralysis. Your sleep cycle, your cycle through several sleep cycles at night. So if you wake up groggy, it's because you woke up at the wrong time of your sleep cycle. Like if you were in a REM sleep and you got startled and woke up, then you'll most likely be groggy because that's not the cycle where you typically wake up at. Men dream about other men 75% of the time, and women dream equally about both sexes. Random fact. Nobody knows why. Basic knowledge. So there's stage 1, where you get light sleep, you're drifting in and out. Stage 2, where your body temperature starts to drop, your heart rate starts to slow. Stage 3 is where you get in the deep sleep, where your body has physical restoration. And then your REM sleep is where you're vividly dreaming, your brain activity spikes, emotional and memories are processed during this stage. So some basic sleep hygiene if you're having difficulty with sleep. It's good to keep a consistent schedule. Go to bed and wake up the same time every day, even on the weekends, and this will help support your circadian rhythm. You want to limit screen time before bed, so eliminate phones, tablets, TV at least 30 to 60 minutes before sleep. The blue light from these actually reduces the melatonin, which helps you sleep. You want to create a cool, dark, quiet environment. Ideal temperature is 67 degrees. You want to avoid stimulants late in the day, such as caffeine, nicotine, or even chocolate before bedtime. You want to be physically active, but not right before bed. So regular exercise does improve sleep, but you want to avoid intense workouts about 2 hours before bedtime. It's really important to get morning sunlight because exposure to the natural light in the morning helps you regulate your circadian rhythm and helps support melatonin, your melatonin levels in your body. You want to make sure that you use your bed for sleeping. You want to avoid eating, watching TV, or associating mental health with bed, like I'm stressed out, I just need to go lay in bed. You don't want to force yourself to sleep. If you can't fall asleep within 20 to 30 minutes, it's advised to get out of bed, do something quiet that's non-stimulating, and then try to go back to bed again. Sleep knowledge that no one knows, or maybe almost nobody knows. Genetics actually influence your sleep time. So some people are actually biologically wired to either be night owls or early birds. So it's not really just a preference. It's actually within your DNA. Sleep before learning is just as important as sleep after. So sleep prepares your brain to be like a sponge. It increases the capacity to absorb and retain new information. Your sense of smell actually shuts down while you're sleeping. So you literally don't smell when you're sleeping, which is why it's important to have smoke alarms in your house, because your nose isn't going to wake you up in the middle of the night. Exercise. Movement is not for just changing your body, but it's about unlocking your energy, confidence, and taking one strength step at a time. So some facts about exercise. Exercise will help with brain and mood. Just 20 to 30 minutes of exercise can boost mood, reduce anxiety. It will increase endorphins and serotonin. Regular exercise can improve memory, focus, and may reduce the risk of Alzheimer's by 30%. Heart longevity. 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week, such as brisk walking, can reduce the risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes. Exercise can add 5 to 7 more years of life expectancy, according to major public health studies. It is disease prevention. It reduces the risks of 13 different types of cancers, including breast, colon, and endometrial cancers. And physically active people are 50% less likely to develop diabetes. So how much exercise should you do every week? Aerobic exercise activity should be at least 150 minutes of either moderate intensity aerobic activity or 75 minutes of intense vigorous activity such as swimming, laps, jump roping, running, or you can do a combination of both. So that's 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Regular exercise can reduce depression up to 30%. It's shown to be as effective as medications at times. It helps improve executive functions such as planning, multitasking, self-control. Weight-bearing and resistant exercise increases bone density and reduces the risk of osteoporosis. After age 30, we start to lose 3 to 8% of muscle mass per decade, but strength training can lower this and even in some cases reverse it. And exercise may slow cellular aging, preserving the length of our telomeres. So when I read that, I was like, well, what is a telomere? So telomeres are protective cap ends within our chromosomes that shorten every time the cell divides. So when they get too big, when they get too short, the cell can no longer function properly or divide, and this is the key part of aging process. So regular physical activity, especially aerobic exercise, is associated with longer telomeres. And a majority of 2008 study found that adults who were highly active had telomeres that were 9 years younger than those who didn't exercise. So exercise stimulates our mitochondrial biogenesis, this helps create new mitochondria, and this is what is the powerhouse of your cells. Healthier mitochondria means better energy production, less oxidative damage, and slower cellular wear and tear. This helps prevent decline in age-related diseases such as Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So how does exercise help promote sobriety? It repairs brain chemistry, so regular physical activity boosts dopamine, serotonin, and endorphins, and these are the neurotransmitters that are often hijacked by substance use. So exercise actually helps restore the natural reward system, reducing cravings and helping with the artificial highs. It reduces cravings. Studies have shown that moderate aerobic exercise, such as brisk walking and cycling, can actually reduce alcohol and drug cravings, especially for stimulants and nicotine. It enhances cognitive control, executive functioning, so it promotes the brain's prefrontal function, enhancing impulse control, decision-making, and emotional regulation. So, as we get to the wrap-up here, recovery is more than just about staying sober. It's about rebuilding a life that's worth living, choosing healthier habits like eating well, moving your body, getting good sleep. It's not about being perfect, though. It's about giving yourself the strength to stay in the fight. Every time you care for your body, you're also caring for your mind, your spirit, and your future. It's just one choice at a time, one day at a time. You're not just surviving, but you're healing. Thank you so much for everything tonight. Have a good night.